Hey, and welcome back to the Megan Waldrop podcast. If you're new here, so happy to have you. Thanks for stopping by. And if you've been here before, love seeing you again, love hanging out with you. And thank you for being here as always. I do not take this time together for granted. I absolutely love that we can chat about these deep topics that a lot of us, maybe talk with our closest friends, or maybe we don't. Maybe this is something that feels too personal and we don't talk about with our families or other people because we don't want to offend anyone because you know what? Everybody's got their beliefs and that is totally fine. And that's what this podcast is all about. Bring your own beliefs, BYOB. There's no wrong answer, only what is right and true for you. So last week we talked about manifestation and becoming the person who can receive what you're thinking or seeking. Excuse me. It's not about wishing upon a star and I'm going to manifest this out of thin air and, just hope that I get it. It's more of who do I need to become to actually receive what I am seeking? So this week, I want to explore another idea from that Instagram reel that I mentioned that had been on my mind for a while. And it had this idea of escaping the matrix. Now, before you turn this off, because you're imagining conspiracy theories and tinfoil hats, just stay with me for a second, because I don't think most of us are trying to escape necessarily a computer simulation. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, BYOB. But I think most of us are trying to escape discomfort and we're trying to escape stress or manipulation or control. And we're trying to escape overwhelm and systems that frustrate us, really. And honestly, I get it. Like I said, I am having these conversations with you, not to you. I'm not teaching things. I am learning right alongside you. And I just love opening up these conversations because it really does, it is something interesting to think about. And it's funny, once you start paying attention, it's, you start noticing things that you didn't see before. You notice some systems just don't work. Maybe you've realized and have experiences that sometimes, there's workplaces that aren't very healthy that just don't work. Or you, realize that maybe not every institution has your best interest in mind, or that social media profits from your attention and that the news profits from your fear. And once you see these things, you can't unsee them. I know that feeling. I'm a former journalist. I spent years paying attention to what was happening in the world and into my local community. And the gift of that work was awareness, but it was also the challenge was learning not to drown in it and to drown into other people's opinions or to storytelling on any kind of level, however you want to, receive that. But the thing is, there's a temptation to opt out. Like I said, I've been there. When we realize something isn't working, our first instinct is to run from it. We want to delete social media. We want to quit the job. We want to move off the grid and just stop participating in what we see as the BS. And sometimes those decisions are exactly right. Healthy boundaries matter, changing environments matter, and also protecting your energy 100% matters. But I've noticed that sometimes what we see as freedom can also be a form of avoidance. So maybe sometimes we're not choosing better, we're actually just trying to avoid feeling uncomfortable. I'm just going to let that simmer for a second because I feel like I need to let that simmer for a while. I feel like I felt that I was giving myself healthy boundaries, but really, I really was shutting down in ways that weren't healthy for me. And this is the thought that's been sitting with me is that what if the goal isn't escaping the quote unquote matrix? What if the goal is learning how to live inside it without being controlled by it? The matrix, however you define it. Okay. Just want to throw that out there again because yeah, it can be such a huge topic to grasp, but the truth is, most of us, we still have responsibilities. We have bills, we have families, we have work, and, we have our society, our communities that we are participating in, and we're not meant to disappear from life. We're meant to engage with it, but consciously, engage with it without getting sucked into the stories of other people. Engage in it and without feeling like you're losing yourself or you're feeling like your body feels unsafe or you're starting to get really stressed out by it. It's kind of like saying, you know, we're human. We're meant to engage in this life. Like that's why we're here. It's just having this awareness around that. So it's like saying, and this is a big one, even for myself. I mean, not even for myself, especially for myself. I can scroll. This is what we can say to each other, okay, to ourselves. You say, I can scroll social media without letting it determine my worth. It's funny because I'll go on social media and I'll have that thought and be like, this is not going to determine my worth. And then I'll click on a certain what do you call it, account. And I feel that little like that little drop in my stomach or in my chest, in my heart area, like, oh, I'm behind. I'm like, what is that all about? Megan, you've already said you're about to go in here and just appreciate it. Okay, so maybe I need to not, you know, do that. Like maybe I need to not go on these accounts because I know that I'm going to instantly compare myself. Like maybe I need to go to the accounts where I'm always just feeling inspired or I get these great quotes. And one of my favorite accounts now that I've just discovered yesterday, it was, what is it about? I think it's about physics. And there's like things explained simply or something like that. And it's these really cool. It's basically science that we wish we would have learned when we were kids. But these kind of accounts are really just, I love these and spiritual accounts. But I notice I'll get on different fashion influencer accounts or, whatever. And I'll feel that little whoop. And I'm like, wait, why did I just, no, that's okay. You're actually not in competition with anyone. So that's okay that you had that feeling, but that doesn't actually define your worth. And this is another one, you could say, I can read the news without absorbing every ounce of fear. Now, for me personally, I cannot do that. So I just, maybe it is avoidance for me, but I can't watch the news because I get too anxious. And that's fine. The world is still spinning. I am doing my best with myself, my family, my loved ones, my community. All I can do is give value to the people that are surrounding me, or at least, hopefully on this podcast, if you feel it's valuable, or, that's all I can do. So I'm just trying to navigate that for myself. Here's another thing you can ask or say to yourself. I can work inside systems while still honoring my values. That's a pretty good one. That's pretty deep. And also, what are your values? I recently, I think it was about a couple years ago, I realized I don't think I ever really wrote down personal values. And so I did write personal values, and now I feel that they have shifted. And so I need to rewrite my personal values. But I think that's something interesting too. I even keep them in my notes app. So I can work inside systems while still honoring my values. But also, like, what are your values? What's important to you? Another thing is you could say, I can participate without surrendering myself. That's pretty good. I can be a part of this without losing myself in it. I can participate in this game. Let's like, life is a game. Like this is all a game. So how do I participate in this without feeling like I'm getting sucked into the vortex of it or the portal? These are all different types of freedom because you're still able to engage without it overtaking you. And this is why I love breath work, y'all, because it's so simple and you don't have to do like long practices. The point of breath work that I'm learning, and I will share as I continue to learn, is that it's not that you're so much doing these exact practices every single day. It's that you're introducing these practices to your body. And then you're kind of figuring out which ones work best for you in any moment. So I'll even notice whenever I'm watching TV or something, I'll check in on my breath. I'm like, how am I breathing? Am I breathing in my chest? Am I breathing in my belly? Am I breathing through my nose? Am I breathing through my mouth? Like I check in like that. And just to have that awareness around breath is breath work in a sense. You don't have to have a holotropic psychedelic experience for breath work to work. It's literally just being conscious of your breath. And I've recently learned too that we all breathe differently. our breath is as unique as our fingerprints. Like we all do to have different ways of breathing. And so it's kind of just tuning into that. Like, how am I breathing now? And what can I do to help my body feel more calm in the moment if that's what I'm trying to achieve? Do I breathe slower? Do I breathe, deeper? For some people, slow, deep breaths in that sense of like slow, longer breaths, slow inhale, exhale, not so much deep as in trying to expand everything, but just bringing that breath down. When I say deep, I mean going deep, like deep into your body, not so much deep as in expanding like a balloon, but more of like bringing it down to the belly, that have that diaphragm, bring it down there. So, breath work in that sense, it's not an escape. We're not trying to escape the matrix that way. We're really just trying to like ground ourselves within this game that we are in, this adventure that we are participating in. And breath work is that return. So even if you're just sitting in the car and you're like, wait, how am I breathing right now? Like you're doing that. Like that, even awareness in itself is huge. Just to have that kind of moment to yourself to be like, oh, I'm having those thoughts again. How am I breathing? How is that affecting my breath? It's always just a way of coming back to yourself. Because when life gets really loud or noisy or, opinions are going off and whatever it is, I don't have to explain it, but it's breath work can help you remember who's actually in charge of your attention, which is you. You have the full control in this situation when it comes to your breath, which is amazing. And no one else can take that away from you. This is all you. And that's where the choice lives. It's not about escaping, it's about returning, it's about coming back to yourself. And so I'm going to end with a few reflection questions for you. So you can ask yourself, what in my life right now feels like the matrix? Like, where does it feel like the matrix, quote unquote, in my life right now? Another question, what am I trying to escape? And what would change if I stopped trying to run from it and instead learned how to navigate it differently? I love this one. I love both of those. What are you trying to escape? And what would you change if you stopped trying to run from it and instead learned how to navigate it differently? Yeah, I definitely am integrating that one big time right now. Just thinking of how personal story, as I'm on this spiritual personal development journey forever, I remember, whenever think positively, like, we talked about this in the last episode, is about the manifestation instead of wishing and only having positive thoughts, because that's just also avoidant. And if you're having any kind of negativity come up, that's okay. That's human. These are emotions that are going through your body. Like let them flow out. You just don't have to grab onto them and say that this defines me. Now I'm feeling this way because I thought this one thing. And that is now how I need to be, type of thing. And I feel like for a while there, I would try to, even if something negative came up, I would try to immediately like, oh no, I need to alchemize this to positivity right now. And that just doesn't feel authentic at all. Like it just felt like it was forceful. It wasn't letting it come up and be like, huh. Like instead, I think it would be more helpful if letting those things come up and instead of trying to like hurry up and alchemize them into something positive, have them come up and be like, whoa, okay, let me take a little step back, third person here. Why am I being affected by this right now? Like, why is this triggering me? Why am I having these feelings of anxiety or fear or maybe anger? It's interesting. And then you can just kind of be like, that's interesting. And then just kind of like let them flow away. Like, we don't have to actually go with those emotions. And I'm telling you this, I'm sharing, I'm with you. Like, I'm not saying I have this all figured out. I'm saying, I'm talking to myself here too. So I just want to let you know, like, we're on this journey together. But this is also what I'm going to try this weekend. I have a great weekend. I'm excited. I'm going to see some of my dearest friends, and we meet every year. And, vibes happen, like feelings come up. These are people that I've loved and known since I was 15 years old. I'm 44, which is wild. It's almost 30 years. you kind of fall back into the rhythm of how you were when you were 15 with these people too. Like I was definitely a different Megan. Always, of course, we're always truly who we are deep inside, never changes, but the versions of ourselves that we react to or project have definitely changed over the years. And so I'm going to bring that with me is, what am I trying to escape? If someone says something that I don't agree with, like, how am I going to, how am I going to not react or react to this or not, whatever. It'll be interesting. So in closing, if you've been feeling overwhelmed or stretched thin or pulled in 100 different directions, I got something that may help you. And I'd love for you to try it. It's called the Breathing Room Toolkit. It's designed exactly for those moments. Believe me, I'm going to be having that on my phone whenever I just have it on my phone anyway. You can download it. It's a PDF that you can have on your phone. You can check it anytime you want. And when you sign up, it should go straight to your inbox. If not, check your spam. I've had issues with that in the past, but hopefully we've tweaked it enough where it goes straight to your inbox instead of getting filtered. But check out the spam because it is going to, don't worry. Uh, but yeah, the breathing room. You can get that link in the show notes. I got that hooked up for you because, sometimes the answer isn't about escaping our lives and escaping the quote unquote matrix, however we define that matrix, whatever that is. It's about creating enough breathing room to show up for it differently, to show up, to participate in it differently, to have fun with it in a different way, to be like, you know what? I do see that whatever is going on around me is its own situation. I don't have to participate in it in that way, but I can just be myself in this situation without having to force it, without having to feel like I need to prove anything. I can just play the game, my own game, not play the game, but have fun with it as if it were. Does that make sense? Make it your own. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for being here. I love our chats and I look forward to seeing you next week.